King William of Avalon was a justice-loving ruler. He loved his people deeply. He always thought about their welfare and progress. His greatest wish was that poverty should be eliminated from his country, and that every person should live a prosperous life. That is why he would daily summon unemployed people to his court, help them, and provide them with jobs. Seeing King William's love and generosity, people began calling him God's friend. One day he was sitting in court when a line of unemployed people came forward. When the king had helped everyone, he asked a beggar, "What do you want? A job or money to start a business?" The beggar replied, "May God grant you success and a long life. I have always survived by begging. What kind of job could I do now? I cannot run a business either. Therefore, I do not need money." King William said, "Then what is your purpose in coming here? Explain yourself." The beggar said, "O kind-hearted and protector of the poor king, if you give me the kingship for 3 days, I will have no further demands." King William smiled and said, "If you consider yourself capable, then come and sit on my throne." The beggar said, "May God bless you. You listen to me. God will bless you too." King William said to the prime minister, "For 3 days this man will rule in my place. You will remain at his service and obey his orders with full loyalty." The prime minister replied, "Your Majesty, do not worry. I and all the other ministers will carry out every one of his commands." Then King William seated the beggar on the throne in his place, placed the crown on his head, saluted him, and left. The beggar king looked toward the prime minister, twisted his mustache proudly, stroked his long beard, and issued his first command, "Prime Minister, immediately have brand new royal-style clothes stitched and present them to us." The prime minister replied, "Very well, Your Majesty, I will inform the tailor right away," and moved toward the door. But after only a few steps the beggar king called out, "Prime Minister, we are extremely hungry. First tell them to prepare food." The prime minister replied, "Your Majesty, the food is ready, but according to tradition, it will not be served before the court is dismissed." The beggar king frowned and said, "Do we need horses and elephants to dismiss the court? Just announce that everyone should go home and rest." Hearing this, the courtiers stood up and whispered among themselves, "What a strange man, no manners, no sense, sits on the throne like this," and they left. The prime minister then brought the beggar king to the dining hall where a variety of dishes were neatly arranged on the table. Seeing the food, the beggar king became restless, threw his blanket aside, and sat down quickly. The prime minister said, "Sir, please wash your hands." The beggar glanced sideways and said, "How rude. Don't you know kings never wash their hands? Their hands are always pure and clean." The prime minister apologized and said, "Please begin." The beggar king examined everything with difficulty and took one bite from each plate. The prime minister thought to himself that he must never have seen such food before, and that was why he was so agitated, wishing to swallow everything at once. Eventually he ate heartily, yet food still remained. He said to the prime minister, "Hide this food somewhere. We will eat it in the evening. Be careful that no one sees it." The prime minister said, "Your Majesty, do not worry about the evening. Fresh food will be prepared." The beggar king replied, "What a fool. If we don't like the evening meal, we will eat this." The prime minister said, "At this moment you are not a beggar but a king. Delicious meals will be prepared for you, so do not worry." The beggar king wiped his hands on his shirt, let out a loud burp and said, "All right, take it away." The servants immediately cleared the plates. He burped again and shouted, "Hey, bring the royal dessert plate here." The servant placed it before him, and he quickly finished it. Thus for 3 days instead of ruling he lived a life of luxury, eating all day, lying on soft beds, listening to music, watching dancers, changing clothes repeatedly, and abusing the servants. The prime minister and others became distressed and thanked God that on the 4th day they would be free from this ill-mannered man. King William came to court and said to the beggar king, "Now please leave the throne as 3 days are complete." The beggar king smiled and said, "In 3 days of kingship we have learned that those who rule cannot live like beggars. You enjoyed luxury before. Now we will." He then ordered King William to remove his royal clothes, wear plain cotton garments, take his wife and children by the hand, and leave the palace, threatening to blind him if he resisted. The ministers and courtiers looked toward King William to see what command he would give. The executioner stood with his sword ready. King William replied calmly, "The kingdom is yours. I will leave with my wife and children." The beggar king said, "Leave not only the palace but the city as well." The prime minister pleaded, "Your Majesty, do not do this. The country will be ruined." King William said, "This is God's will. I no longer want the throne. Perform your duties with honesty. Difficulties will become easy." Saying this, he left the palace and told his wife to remove her royal clothes and wear simple garments because he was no longer king and they must live elsewhere. The children remained silent. The queen was shocked, but none spoke a word. King William had 2 sons, Noah and Samuel. Noah was 2 years old and Samuel was 7. Holding hands along with Queen Eleanor, they left the palace toward the forest. When the children grew tired, he carried them on his shoulders. When Eleanor became tired, she rested beneath a tree. After a week of traveling, they reached a small town. Eleanor suggested they stay there, rent a room at an inn to hide, and that he should work to earn money. King William liked this idea. The next day, a merchant caravan arrived outside the town. A trader met King William and asked him to send his wife along to help his pregnant spouse. King William sent his wife with him. After some distance, the trader placed her on a horse and rode swiftly toward the caravan. She protested, but he ignored her. King William grew anxious and immediately followed with both children. He reached the caravan and learned from a passerby that the trader had gone far ahead. King William continued chasing him. Meanwhile, the prime minister managed state affairs silently because he was tied to the government and had nothing without it. The beggar king, accustomed to begging, became arrogant after enjoying palace luxuries and began treating everyone with contempt. King William had helped the poor and unemployed, but the beggar king never helped anyone and insulted those who sought aid. The people prayed day and night for King William's return. Other nations believed King William would soon return and remove the beggar, so none attacked the country. While ministers, courtiers, and citizens opposed him, the beggar king remained busy in pleasures. One day, King William reached a city where thousands had gathered. He asked why and learned that the king had died 2 days earlier and that tradition allowed anyone desiring the throne to gather, release an eagle, and whoever it landed upon would become king. King William asked if the late king had heirs and was told that kingship was not hereditary. He stayed to watch and by God's will, the eagle descended and sat on his head. He was astonished, tried to remove it, but people surrounded him congratulating him. Though he refused, they declared it God's command and crowned him, paraded him through the city, dressed him royally, fed him and crowned him that evening. Knowing governance well, he ruled wisely, prospered the land and strengthened trade. After 2 years missing his sons deeply, he wept. The minister suggested remarriage, but King William instead announced he wished for 2 boys and would reward anyone who brought them. Many came and he selected 2 noble, intelligent boys, paid their guardians, treated them as his sons, educated them, loved them deeply, and raised them like princes. A trader from his former land later arrived with gifts and flattery. King William sensed his deceit and secretly sent the boys to follow him. They learned their tragic past, discovered their mother imprisoned, rushed back, revealed the truth, and King William embraced them, revealing himself as their father. The traitor was exposed, confessed kidnapping and slavery, revealed turning the queen into a statue through a sorcerer. The sorcerer was summoned, the spell broken, the queen restored, the family reunited, and both the traitor and sorcerer were exiled forever. Thus King William was reunited with his lost happiness. And this story revolves around a king and the trials of his life.